I've been watching you from a distance as I turn out all the lights. All I want from you is to listen and remember the good times. If you think of all that we leave out, is that weird you're feeling good? I know nothing ever turned out as you wanted to. But every time I feel it, every time I breathe, every time I close my eyes, it's coming right at me over again. Baby, you got me begging, please. You got me on repeat. You got me on repeat. Oh, love has got me on my knees. And always on repeat. You got me on second, I will give up without a fight, even if you keep me guessing till the morning light. Yeah, I know I will learn it the hard way, 'cause I just can't leave it be. And I don't really care what they say, it's all about you and me. But every time I feel it, every time I breathe, every time I close my eyes, it's coming right at me over again.
Hey, everyone. Hi, successful women. Hi to the VIPs. Love you guys. Hi to replay watchers. Make sure you comment so that we know you checked us out in the replay. Hi to all the YouTube viewers as well. Let us know in the YouTube comments that you stopped by. Drop any questions that you have for either one of us today. How is everyone? How is everyone's business going? What are you working on right now? Tell us in the comments so that we can support you and we can check out what you got. And I'm wondering if any of you, for the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about my challenge for the month of working on your top 3 wins from January. I wonder if anyone is using Chat GPT to help them. This is something that I'm about to start looking into. I've heard really fabulous things about it. So now I'm curious, and I've heard a bunch of different ways that you can use it. And I realize that AI can only go so far and that humans are still needed to kind of check out what the AI produces, right? But has anyone else used it, and what exactly are you using it for? Because I have a lot of ideas and I'm going to try out some things, all right? Everyone say hi to Miss Paige. Paige is in the comments with an Amazon gift card for an active viewer in the Facebook group. So say hi to her. Today we have guest trainer, lead gen, and conversion strategist, Wendy Breakstone. She is bringing us her training of turn followers into leads and fill your email list in 1 week. So let's bring Wendy on.
Hi.
Hey, Wendy.
Well, wait a minute. I use Chat GPT. We could have a whole nother conversation about that.
Oh, cool. That'll be very interesting. You got to put some stuff. Let us know in the comments when you're done with this. Let us know what you're using it for too, because I want some new ideas. I've heard a lot of stuff on TikTok about it too.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I've heard a lot of stuff about it. So I'm excited to kind of dive into that and just see what it can do. So that's exciting that you're using it.
Oh, I love it.
Do you?
I love it.
All right,
But
cool.
that's not what we're here to talk about today.
It isn't, but I'm definitely going to get into it now. But thank you for taking the time to hang out with us today and to give us a little training. I will give you the floor and I will be back.
Well, oh my gosh, thank you again, Katie. This is so exciting. And that music that you played at the beginning really just kind of amped me up. I was back in the green room, dancing a little bit. But today, friends, I really want to share with you something that's very close to my heart that I talk about a lot. And it's all about turning lurkers into leads. And when I say that, I'm talking about ways to get consistent lead flow, ways to not have to be chasing followers around. So let me just say this at the top, because you may have, if you know me at all, you may have heard me say this in the past. Followers are not leads until they join your email list. And I love being in this platform, and I love being in this space and in these groups with people and in other platforms. But at the end of the day, that email list is so, so powerful to constantly and consistently be growing. And so when I think about lead generation, number one, I'm always thinking about consistency and ease and simplicity. And so what I want to share with you today is my simple way that I fill my email list and fill my programs, for that matter, with zero ad spend, with what I call the Micro Audio Summit system. And so if you're looking for something that's like simple and repeatable, if you want something that you don't have to be on that like roller coaster, that big launch, and then you dip down, and then you know you're kind of up and down all year long, and it's feast or famine, and it feels very uncomfortable, and it's stressful to our systems. We shouldn't be doing that to our poor nervous systems. If you are kind of tired of following some of the bigger gurus and doing the big oversized, overused strategies that maybe just don't work as well anymore, but you were taught them a year ago, or they worked 18 months ago. If you feel like the best kept secret, if you are an expert without authority, if you are the best kept secret, you have your experience, you're a seasoned entrepreneur, you've been to school, you've been around the block, this is not your first rodeo, and yet you're seeing people that are that have seemingly more success than you, with less experience than you. That's what happens when you're an expert without authority. Okay. And it happens a lot. So here's what I want to talk through very briefly today. I want to share with you a little bit about some of the features and the benefits of how this system could work for you. Because at the end of the day, whether you use a micro audio summit, whether you do a big summit, whether you grow a Facebook group, whatever that is, it needs to feel in alignment for you. And for me, I want ease and I want consistency. Okay. I don't want to feel like I'm on the roller coaster. I want to feel like I'm just kind of cruising along on some light waves and everything's fine, right? I'm sailing along a little bit. And of course, there's always going to be times in our business that are a little bit busier, but you kind of get the gist. So what I teach people is Katie says she loves my Wonder Woman poster. Yes, I'm a child of the 80s. I actually grew up with the original Wonder Woman. I'm talking Linda Carter in the 70s, like spinning around with the bad graphics, that Linda Carter. And we could talk about Wonder Woman forever, I'm sure. But let me just share with you some of why the system that I've created and why I specifically want to help people with lead generation, with that conversion mechanism. Because if we're spending a lot of time here, we need to make it worth our while. And I'll just give you an example. Last week, like for some strange reason, my DMs, I got restricted in DMs, and I couldn't send DMs to people. And I was like, wait a minute, what's happening here? And I remembered like, hey, I can chill. I have an email list, right? I can email my list. I can communicate with them there. It's all good. But if people are lurkers and not leads, it's harder, and you have to spend more energy to get them to raise their hand. And so we really want to get them to raise their hand as fast as possible. And by raise their hand, I mean, say that they want something that you provide that's valuable enough that they're willing to pay for it with their email address. So think about email. When you're giving away a quote freebie, it's not free. Like, people are paying. The currency you're using is your email address. They're paying, it's like a dollar bill almost. They're giving you their email, you're giving them something of value. So never discount that growing your email list is highly, highly valuable. It may not be fun and it may not be as sexy as some of these other things, but it's still super valuable. So let me give you the quick and dirty about what I call the Micro Audio Summit system. And the tenets of this are very, very simple. I basically took the big virtual summit that forces you to spend hours and hours watching video, that forces you to kind of wrangle dozens and dozens of speakers. It takes 3+ months to produce. I basically said, like, this is crazy. I can't do this consistently or repeatedly because it's too time intensive, it's too energy zapping, and it's expensive for that matter. I can't do that every few months. So what I did is I basically flipped the model upside down and I said, okay, well, if you do a micro audio summit, and as I was creating this, I didn't know at the time that I was going to call it that, but what if we had just a handful of speakers? What if then I would only have to deal with wrangling 5 to 7 speakers versus 20 to 30 speakers, right? What if I didn't charge a VIP pass upsell and I cut out all that minutia of the fast pass and the early bird and the this and the that and the affiliates and all of that extra stuff? What if we cut out the co-working sessions and the crazy schedule and we just really focused on providing a small scale, highly valuable, action oriented event that's audio only that people could listen to whenever they want. And that's when I created this micro audio summit system. And truly, that's what I love teaching people today. And it will bring you, in the week that you open up registration, it will literally bring you hundreds and hundreds of leads. I had a client recently who brought in 2020 leads for her micro audio summit when she opened up registration. And that's with a handful of speakers. So it is a very simple system to follow. It's very easy to rinse and repeat. Once you do the first one, it takes about 6 weeks to produce. It's not like a 3+ month strategy. And it's audio only. You deliver it like a private podcast. And so people can take it with them on the go. And imagine how, I'm just going to refresh my page over here to make sure that everything's going good. Imagine how powerful it could be to let people take you with them when they're walking their dog, when they're cooking dinner for their family, when they're waiting to pick up their kids in the school line. When you can show up at the top of their funnel where they are and not forcing them to drop what they're doing to watch hours and hours of video, you are going to build that trust and that authority so quickly. And so that's really, truly what I love to share with people. Now, there's one more step that I want to talk about, and then I'm going to hand it back over to Katie. And that is, doing a micro audio summit is great. And it is a top of funnel. So those new eyeballs, you're going to get new eyeballs because you're getting in front of all those other speakers' audiences. It's super magical. And what happens is you warm them up very, very quickly because they hear you in all the interviews. But then what? And that's when that's when you go to what I call your 1-week conversion event or your 1-week conversion machine. And it's really important that when you have an event like that, where you've brought in a bunch of new leads, that you don't just all of a sudden bombard them with like, great, now buy my high ticket offer. Like, you want to create an experience that goes a little bit deeper for them. And so how I always teach people is you create your micro audio summit, and then the week after you have their attention. And now you get their undivided attention. So this is where you take them into a private small workshop. This is where you offer them a masterclass. This is where you give them a little bit of a deeper experience so that they know that, in fact, meeting you, listening to you, and now investing with you is either right or not quite right for them at this time. So that's kind of how I like to think of it, is thinking about in terms of, instead of chasing followers around, instead of doing a public podcast, instead of relying on everybody else's marketing to drive your marketing, what can you do to take control and to be proactive about your marketing and build yourself a list of highly engaged, valuable leads that become those loyal clients? I'm going to pause there, and I'm going to ask Katie if she wants to chime in at all. I think I'm at about the 10-minute mark. How am I doing? I can't hear you. You're on mute.
Oh, there we go. How's that?
Yeah, good.
All right, cool. That's live for you. But that is such a great idea. It's a micro, say that again. What's it called?
It's called a micro audio summit.
Oh, I love that. Because I even put in the comments, like, I prefer audio trainings to, like, almost anything because I listen to it when I'm walking. I listen to it in the car so that I don't want to have to like look at something. I want to just hear something. I,
Mhm.
that is awesome. And I bet a lot of people do that too. I'm sure I'm not the only one. I love that idea. I'm going to look into it. That's really cool.
You know, the reality is that, like, I believe that when you're reaching people at the top of your funnel, and even continuing to warm those people up that are in the middle that maybe have become dormant on your list or that are lurking around, but they're not leads yet,
Mhm.
it's really important to keep them engaged, but not force them into your box,
Right.
basically. And I have found that the big summits force you into these very rigid time frames with rigid upsells and sometimes wacky schedules. And oftentimes it's too much for somebody that's just getting to know you. The other fundamental problem is that if you bring 30 people together, the attention really isn't on you. And if you're going to
Exactly.
spend the time and the energy, make sure that you have the presence as the host and the innovator to create your platform of authority.
Right. And the other thing is one of the reasons why we create these online businesses is so that we have like time freedom, location freedom, whatever. So it's nice that we're not having to get stuck in a time frame or anything big like that. It gives people a great introduction on their schedule, on their time to what it is that you do. I think that's great.
100%. It's really important whether people decide to do a micro audio summit or not is to think about like how are they not just dropping a PDF or a lead magnet to somebody at the top of the funnel, but how are they really connecting in a way that is going to build that trust factor quickly?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Love it.
that's where you turn your expertise into true authority and build your audience authority and email list.
Love it. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Wendy. And you have a Facebook group that you're going to drop in the comments as well?
I do. I'm going to put it in there right now. Let's see. And I'm gonna drop the, let's see, I'm just putting in the information. Oops, hang on, I put the wrong link in. When people come in and join my Facebook group, they're going to get an invitation to a training that goes deeper than what we have talked about
Okay,
here
cool.
today. And
Okay.
that's a really good place to start if you feel like this might be the right move for you.
Yeah. Love it. Thank you so much, Wendy.
Thank you. I really appreciate your time. I love watching you and I love being part of your group, Katie. I hope you have such a
Oh,
great day.
thank you. Thanks. Same to you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Ooh, that was great. That's like such a good idea. I love that idea. I have to look more into that. All right. All right, guys. So let's get this going. Let me bring up my notes. I'm going to talk to you a little bit, few minutes about how to get paid while building your social media audience. Okay. Because that's what we want to do. We want to start getting paid like right away, right? Most of us are looking for a proven social media strategy that attracts an audience, that builds trust, and that passively generates more leads and sales. When I launched my brand, I was someone who was almost never on social media. I had no audience and no influence. And now I'm sharing the social media strategy that I use to get paid while building my audience without launching, without cold messaging, without inviting to Zooms, and without filling my calendar with sales calls. But if you're new here, I just want to reintroduce myself. I'm Katie Fairhurst, and I'm the admin of Successful Women Building Generational Wealth. And I want to welcome you here to Lunch Break Live. If this is your first time hanging out with us today, and if you're new here on YouTube, welcome. You may want to hit like and subscribe because we do free trainings here every single week, and I don't want you to miss it. And if you're interested in being on Lunch Break Live and having all of this exposure to your brand, please reach out to me and we can discuss because honestly, for next week, I had a cancellation and now I'm scrambling to find someone for next week. So if you're available next Wednesday, let me know. Okay. Now, if you're like most people, you probably spend a lot of time searching on Google and scrolling through social media looking for strategies to grow your business. That's exactly what I did when I first got started, right? And honestly, I still do a lot of research to find the most efficient ways of getting things done. And back then, I had all of these big ideas, right? I had knowledge and I was excited to share this knowledge with the world, right? And I had a vision for the type of community that I wanted to really create, right? But I had no idea how to attract an audience on social media or how to make my efforts profitable, even if I did. The first thing I noticed was like the sheer volume of information out there. Am I right? It seems like everyone has the best ways to grow a profitable online business, but none of them were like giving you all the pieces to that, right? And you may be noticing this too. So I invested like a lot of hours and a lot of money into different programs. There were mini courses, there were Facebook ad funnels, there were authentic reach out PDFs, another micro offer, so-called mini course, plus a full branding course that was a disappointment to say the least. And at the end, I was left with a bunch of random strategies that didn't work together, right? And sometimes they worked against each other. Even though I had made these investments, I had not even made a single sale at that point, and I was pretty much at the end of my rope. And I knew it was time to either do something that's going to start making money or just quit, right? Because I didn't have a business. What I had was an expensive, time sucking hobby that was using up all of my energy, right? And I was left with a really bad taste in my mouth from these other investments. But something inside me told me there had to be a way that actually worked, right? When I found coaches who were totally down to earth and were practical and laid out this whole plan before I even gave them a dollar, I knew this was it. And I basically threw my money at them, right? They took all of these random strategies that I had been learning and brought it down to the specific income producing activities that would make my business profitable, right? And since then, I've learned how to actually pick out a coach because now I know what a good one looks like. I've now worked with two more coaches since then, and I've put together some pretty fantastic strategies that can work for just about any business, even though you guys know that my heart lies with network marketers. But once I got my simple steps locked in, it was like magic. And within days, I went from no sales to literally making sales in my sleep with a small but growing audience in a business that I run from my laptop and my phone in just a few hours a week. So you're probably asking, what are the steps that made such a drastic difference? Well, number one, the first step to building a profitable social media presence is to attract the right people. You can have the best products, services, and business on the planet, but if nobody sees you, right, you're not going to make any money. But it's not enough to just attract random audiences, right? You need to attract the right audience, your ideal clients and customers. And some of the questions to ask yourself here are, who is your ideal client, right? What problems can you help them solve? And who do you help and how do you help them? And that's what we talked about in detail last week. Once you know that, it comes down to consistently posting content on social media that calls out that person and shows them that you are the resource to help them solve their problem, while also having a balance of posts that turn cold leads into warm prospects and then later into like a hot customer. Okay. This requires having a really balanced posting plan. And the plan will vary slightly from platform to platform, but the one thing that's going to remain the same is that you need to have a balanced strategy of posts that attract, posts that nurture, and then posts that convert, okay? The second step is to capture them. People see your content online and they go about their day, they're going to forget that you even exist, okay? And that's not going to make you money. You must capture their contact info and bring them deeper into your world. This this is like you know, you're not just capturing a casual viewer's attention, right? But you want to include I'm sorry, I'm saying this backwards. Sorry about that. This includes capturing a casual viewer's attention, right? So that they become a follower, but it also includes capturing views and followers and then converting them into leads, just like Wendy was talking about. But you cannot do this in rented property, all right? And let me explain this to you. As wonderful as Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and Pinterest and TikTok are, as wonderful as they are, you don't own them. They could go away or they could change or block you or whatever at any moment. And as an entrepreneur, it is essential that you start building an email list that you actually own. 90% of my monthly revenue comes from my email list. And the easiest way to capture emails or leads online is to create a free PDF download. Your future subscribers and future customers, they will willingly give their name and email in exchange for like a cheat sheet or a guide or a quick video or anything that falls within your niche that helps them solve a problem that they are dying to resolve once and for all. If you want to see some pretty great ideas for freebies, check out my link tree in the video description. Most of the stuff in my link tree is completely free, so go ahead and check that out. The third step in your social media strategy is to nurture. Write that down. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. By nurturing your audience and creating that level of know, like, and trust, you're not going to be building just an audience, but you're going to be building an audience of raving fans who will love to buy anything that you got. Okay. There are so many ways that you can nurture your audience. Okay. So many ways. One of my favorite ways is through email. And if you're on my email list, then you know this. Another is in a private Facebook group, just like we're in here now. And I also use something that I was taught called hero content strategy, like this that you're watching right now. But the best part is by simply showing up consistently for your audience, you will put yourself light years ahead of your competition in terms of building trust with them. Okay. And the fourth step is to convert. And that's what we're here for today. And I'm going to be real honest. I don't pay much attention. And I was taught not to pay much attention to vanity metrics. And what vanity metrics are like the likes, the comments, the followers, or even how many email subscribers you have, right? It's called a vanity metric because it may make you feel good, right? But if you're not consistently converting them into sales for your business, you won't be in business for very long. And honestly, most of the people who buy from me never like or comment on anything. They're too busy, right? And they're too obsessed with making their businesses work that they either reach out to me directly in the DMs or they just purchase directly because they got all the information that they need from my freebie and they're just ready to get to work. So one of the questions I get a lot is how long before I can start making money, right? That's what this training is all about. We want to start making money right away, okay? So my answer is you could start making money right away. I started making money the very same week that I committed to growing my email list. Like I told you, 90% of my sales come from my email list, okay? I have the right systems and the right steps in place to convert my new subscribers into sales, okay? It is essential that you have the steps in place to funnel your audience into your offers and your services, always reminding them of the next step they can take to learn more from you. The easiest way to do this when you're first starting out is to create a freebie offer that leads to a micro offer. And a micro offer is a low price digital product that gives your subscribers like a little taste, a little piece of what it's like to work with you on a higher level. Okay. It's a small commitment for them. Micro offers might be like $7 or $17 or $27, just as an example. They might be maybe a more detailed PDF or a workbook, or it could even be a short video training. Okay. For this to work, it is important that your micro offer be very consistent with your freebie that you offered in the capture step. When you have this built correctly, about 8 to 12%, so say 10%, but the statistics are 8 to 12% of your freebie grabbers will also purchase your micro offer right then and there. Many of the ones who don't grab it will be enticed by something you offer in your email communications as well, okay? This is how you get paid almost on autopilot while building your audience. And you can see how this can work if your audience is very, very small right now. If you want to see in more detail exactly how this works, along with some free tips from me that you can start using in your business today, then I'll point you in the direction of my passive income class that I have in the video description. Make sure that you have something to take notes with because you will need it. There's a lot of information in there, okay? And a true fan is not somebody who's like a casual follower or an email subscriber. They're what I call a raving fan who are eager to buy anything and everything that you got to promote, okay? You don't build an audience of, say, 1,000 true fans without becoming a person of true value. We all have those negative buying experiences, like I talked about in the beginning, right? And saying you're never going to buy from that company again. It happens, okay? But by creating a true fan culture within your business, you can turn first-time buyers into lifetime customers. And so many people get stuck here because they don't understand how to connect the dots between growing an audience and then converting the sales. But when you do those first 4 steps of the formula right, the sales are almost on autopilot, okay? When you have created an audience of buyers that are just lining up and, like Wendy said, raising their hand to buy whatever you decide to sell or recommend to them, that's what you're going to have. You're going to have conversions. Like me, I'm known for helping female network marketers create awesome businesses through a profitable social media presence. And hearing this, it would make sense that my audience would be consistently buying digital courses and coaching packages and affiliate offers, right? But you might be surprised to hear that I also do a lot of sales every single month with my network marketing products, which are health and wellness products and vitamins and collagen and gut health and all that stuff. These things have nothing to do with my niche, but I have built a big enough audience who knows me, who likes me, and who trusts me. So when I show up and share those things on social media, usually in my stories and in my email communications, I always get sales. When you have a solid system like this working for you night and day, you will also recruit new people into your network marketing business for the same reason. Whenever I launch a new product, or a new service, or I decide to do like a live promotion, maybe for an existing product or service, I know I will always have a group of people who are lining up and ready to buy because they've had good experiences with me in the past. They know my products and they know my programs and they know that I'm going to help them create the results they desire, right? And most importantly, they trust me and they trust my recommendation. A true fan culture happens when you show up consistently for your audience while also consistently offering solutions to their biggest problems and providing them with opportunities to upgrade their investment and their experience with you. Okay. So that is it for today. Thank you so much to Wendy for her training and all of those goodies. She's pretty impressive. She has some pretty impressive things going on. So I'm excited about that. All right. So check out her link in the video description. I believe she put her Facebook group in the comments as well. And thank you guys. And I'll see you next time.